Hello, my name is Kaden Norder, and I handle product quality and customer relations for ZYYX 3D printer. Today we're going to talk about setting up your first print on your new ZYYX Pro. So when you get the ZYYX Pro, the first thing we need to do is cut it out of the box. Just cut the tape. When you're taking it out of the box, it's good to know that you have handles in the styrofoam on both sides. So you can just reach into the sides. They're on the same sides as the handles on the box, and just lift the whole thing up. Next, to get off the styrofoam sides, so now we're going to start unpackaging the interior of the printer. So the first thing we can take out is going to be this piece of styrofoam right above the triangle plate. And if you just push down on it a little bit, it comes right out. Then we can raise the triangle plate up just a bit, so we can reach in and take out the first interior packaging. And for now, we're just going to set this aside. These are the build plates. Underneath the build plates, you're going to find another piece of styrofoam with more accessories. And here you have the toolbox, the power cable, and the USB cable. And then finally, underneath the last piece of styrofoam, there is a maintenance kit, which we can all set aside. If you open up the toolbox, inside you'll find a number of items. There's a set of Allen wrenches, a scraper, an oil pen, a pair of pliers, a nut tool used for build plate leveling, and then finally, set of snippers. And these are very helpful because with them you can cut the zip ties in the front. And you'll get two packaging pieces here that fall out. One thing to note is it's very good to save all of the packaging in case you ever need to move the printer to a different location. It's the safest way to move it. So from here, there's just the last bit of outer plastic to take off over the doors. Great, so now you have the fully unpackaged ZYYX Pro printer, and we want to get our first print started on it. So the first thing we want to do is turn it on. I'm going to take the power cable, go ahead and remove its zip tie. On the back of the printer, there's a place to plug in the power, right in the back right corner. Let's just turn it around. We can see what's on the back here. So on the back of the printer, you'll see where the power cord goes. There's also a circular on button, so we can just go ahead and press that to turn the printer on. You've also got your filament monitor on the back. And a good thing to note on the filament monitor is to check that the arrow on the tube is pressed all the way in. Then if we follow the tubing down from the bottom of the filament monitor, we'll see that it goes all the way to the back side over here. So because the first print we're going to set up is with the model that comes on the card, it's a Pro Carbon model. We're going to be printing in Pro Carbon. So we need to go ahead and connect this tube into the back of the funnel. You just press it right in. Also on the back here we have the chamber heater that you're seeing here, as well as the fume filter fan, and the printer comes pre-installed with a HEPA and active carbon filter, so you don't have to do anything. It's all set up to reduce the fumes. Okay, so now if we want to print, the next thing we need to do is get a build plate set up and get our filament set up. So in order to start with the filament, we're going to have to tell the printer that we want to load, which will then warm up the Swift tool. You can do that on the menu here if you go to Utilities, and then Filament Loading is the second option, and just hit the green button. And then go to Load, hit the green button again. And now what it's doing is warming up, so when the Swift tool reaches the appropriate temperature, then we can start loading the filament. So I'm going to grab a roll of filament. This is a roll of our ZYYX Pro Carbon. While the printer is warming up, I'm going to go ahead and get it loaded. When it makes that noise, it means that it's okay to start loading filament. So I'm going to set my filament into the filament spool. It's important that the filament feeds up from the bottom, so I'm going to set it in thusly. And then I'm going to take the end of the filament and just feed it through the white funnel in the back corner. And the filament's going to run through that tube in the back that we connected, up through the filament monitor, and then through the tubing all the way to the print head. And I saw it go into the print head, and I feel that I can't push it through anymore. So now it's been taken by the feeder wheel, and it's going to go through the Swift tool and then start extruding. The process for the filament to start coming out usually takes about 30 seconds. So in the meantime, I can go ahead and take out my build plate. As it's a Pro Carbon print, here it comes. We're going to use the brown Pro Standard build plate with it. So we can go ahead and stop the filament from loading just by pressing the green button. As we can see, it's now coming out. When we put in the build plate, it's important to align the two back magnets onto the two holes of the triangle plate first. And then make sure it sits very snugly on the triangle plate. Great. The last thing we need is the top cover. The top cover has a cutout in the back, which should go over the tubing and then sit snugly. Okay. And then to start the print, it already came loaded on the SD card, which is already in the printer. So if we just hit the left button to back out to the main menu, and go up to Print from SD, and choose the Pro Carabiner.x3G. So now what's going to happen is the print head moved back to its home position. The build plate is going to raise up, and then the chamber is going to start heating for a carbon print. The process of heating takes from a cold start roughly 30 minutes, a bit depending on the interior temperature of the room. So we can leave it here for now and it'll get started in a bit. So this is how you set up your first print in your new ZYYX Pro. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@zyxx3dprinter.com. Thank you.